What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we dive into another one of my deconstruction videos where we take a deck that currently is sitting in the meta, full of all the rares, mythics, and things like that, and we're going to be deconstructing to make it a little bit more budget friendly if you're looking for a starting point. Not, if you don't have enough currency currently to build the full deck, but you want to start somewhere, you kind of want to start playing the deck to kind of see where you stand and whether or not you really want to fully commit all the mythics and rare wildcards to make the deck in full. With that being said, if you like the video, hit that like button. Definitely helps out a lot. If you're new here, you want to know when I post new videos on the channel, hit that subscribe button. It puts a plus one counter on the channel. And with that being said, let's just dive into it and let's just talk about the deck. All right, so today's video, we dive into the mono white aggro deck, and this is kind of one of those decks that I think has just been around since rotation, that has kind of evolved over time when it comes to standard and best of one play. This is probably one iteration that you will see of this particular deck. I think there's some other iterations depending on where you look that have various things, but you know, it's for the most part, the deck is pretty consistent for a lot of the key cards when it comes to the deck, and overall the deck is very good, and that's why people play it. I mean, monocolored decks out of all of them are probably the easiest to kind of play because the land base compared to multicolored decks is a little bit more simple. So you only need plains, you maybe need some rare lands if you really want, but you really don't need to have them to make the deck really function and work. And also making it budget friendly, not having to worry about dual color lands that come into play tapped is also a benefit. So when we make it a budget version, it's not going to be too difficult for us to kind of like still be as aggressive even though we don't have the rare lands. So with that being said, I think the first thing you want to do whenever you kind of want to understand what you need or what you want to make with the deck when it comes to deconstructing it to make it a little bit more understandable or digestible to kind of figure out is we're just going to kind of sit here and sort the deck out real quick and kind of understand what rares, what mythics are in the deck. And to be quite honest, mono white is literally a deck of rares and mythics. So I mean, it is one of those decks that it's definitely going to be a little bit pricey to kind of get into. As you kind of see here, our pile has gotten to the point that it makes us have to actually scroll up and down if we want to see it. And what we're actually left with is just the basics of 2 portable holes and 4 Usher of the Fallen. So this is a little bit more tricky when it comes to this. And I think the problem is especially when it comes to like mono white and mono green, is going to be finding like 1-to-1 replacements. And I don't think that's going to be, unfortunately, it's not going to be a thing. I think the first thing we probably want to do is get rid of our rare lands. Let's get rid of our 4 rare lands. We're going to just increase our land count by 4, so we have 23 lands. Now, the next thing you probably want to go from here, and I think this is something I'm going to try to figure out as I kind of do this, is what the minimum amount of rares I want to include in the deck initially. And I think this could be one of those things like which cards you like the best, but I think where I want to go with the mono white deck, because I know I won't be able to build a 1-to-1 creation, is I kind of want to play Adeline. I think Adeline is going to be a really good card for what we're going to want to do with this deck, just on the basis of that she kind of like will help us with our creatures. And I think I'm going to go small creatures and just get as wide as possible against our opponent, kind of overwhelm them by going too wide against them. So I think that's the route we want to go. And then from there, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to find cheap cards or cheap mono white cards. So we're going to do this. We're going to go to this and we're going to find some 1 mana, 2 mana mono white creatures. I don't know why it's selected red. I guess there's something somewhere that's red. And what we need to do is find some cheap creatures. So we're definitely going to take Chaplain. We'll see that guy. We'll see Codespell Cleric. If we can cast a lot of small creatures, maybe that's going to be beneficial to us. What else do we have here? I don't think Luminary Veteran we're not really a life gain deck. Monk of the Open Hand, if we're multicasting, is definitely very good. What else do we have here? I mean, we could always dive into having some lessons. Maybe that's a possibility. We already have Ushers of the Fallen, which is a very strong uncommon card. I don't think we need a card that's going to help us find more basic planes, because the cards I think we're going to play are on the cheaper end, so we're not going to have to worry about that. So let's see what else we got going on here. Clarion Spirit could be a good card. I think Clarion Spirit's definitely a possibility. Every time we cast a second spell, we're going to get a 1/1 token, and if we're trying to go wide against our opponent, that is definitely going to benefit us. And combine that with Adeline, it's going to just make Adeline that much stronger. Other than that, let's see what else we got going on here. We got an artifact deck. Tiberian Takedown could be a card we can use for when it comes to actually doing, destroying creatures our opponents may have. Aspirant is a rare, so we probably don't want that. What else do we want here? This is one of those things, like sometimes you just have to kind of scroll through and kind of find cards that you like or kind of fit what you're looking to do. Did I miss the card I'm looking for? Food. Let's see. I think Professor's also probably pretty solid. So, what we'll do here is we'll kind of drag these cards over into the proper mana cost area, kind of get an understanding of what our deck breakdown is, and then kind of go from there and figure out what we really got. So now we'll raise up our deck. We have Monk of the Open Hand. We'll add in 4 copies card. We'll add in 4 copies of Code Spell Cleric because it's bigger. Chaplain, also 4 copies. Professor of Symbology, 4 copies. And Clarion Spirit, 4 copies. All right, so I mean, we're definitely in a good spot. And we have to cut 20 cards. So I do think we probably start going into our pile. And since we added creatures, we probably want to cut creatures. So we cut 4 of these. We cut 4 Intrepid Adversaries. We cut Luminarch Aspirant. I'm unsure. I think I'm gonna keep 1 because I think I think you do get given 1 in one of the starter decks. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if not, I would say cut 1 of those. But I think I'm gonna keep 1 Luminarch because I feel like you get 1 given to you from the starter deck. So we're gonna cut. All right, we're at 62. We're gonna cut these. All right, so we still need to find 2 more creatures to kind of fill up the last little bit. And this is kind of one of those things I think that we'll have to kind of figure out what we want to do that. What other 2 drops do we have, or 1 drops that we have access to that could work with what we're trying to do here? We're just trying to get low to the ground and be aggressive is, I guess, the best way to put it. It's definitely tough, you know. Sometimes when it comes to this, it's like find like that 1 card. I mean, Cathar Commando's not a bad idea, as it's a card that we can flash in, get 3/1 power, and also sacrifice it to remove some enchantments or artifacts. And I think there's quite a few in the format, so let's just try that card for now and kind of see how that works out. So we're gonna put that in that pile, 2-drop pile. And then we're left with Faithful Absence and Wandering Emperor that we want to replace. Now, you know, what we need to do is we need to find a card that's going to be able to kind of, you know, destroy target creature. And I think since we're a low deck, and I think I saw it before, where is it? It's letter K. And where is Kabir Takedown? And I think Kabir Takedown could be a card that could be a good card. And I think we want 4 copies. And what we'll do here is, because we have 4 copies, we'll remove 4 lands to kind of make it 1-to-1. Did I do something wrong? I don't know. I feel like I missed something. What else do we want here? You know, another good card that I think that could be very good in a deck like this, especially when we only have 1 rare and we want some value out of that rare, is maybe add some Valorous Stance is definitely a good card, I think, for this style of deck. Just in case there's some sort of board wipe, we want to keep like our Adeline around. We're just gonna add 4 copies of that. And then I think now there was a card I played when I was testing another deck that I'm actually going to be making a video on probably before or after this. I think it's an artifact that's white. I think it costs 3 mana because it's filtered down to. Let me just find it. I think this is going to be a good card for the deck, if I can find it. The vehicle that came from Kamigawa, that's uncommon. I think it's a very good card for the style of deck we're playing. All right, there we go. I had to search it because I, for some reason, was just overlooking. I think 2 of these will be very good. So what we'll do is we'll subtract our Wandering Emperors. And then what this card does is that what I think it's probably pretty good for the deck. 1, it crews for 2, so a lot of our creatures can crew it. And then whenever it attacks, return target creature or vehicle with card with a current mana cost 2 or less from our graveyard to our hand. So it will get back our weaker creatures back to our hand so we can replay them, just in case we get board wiped or something like that. The other thing we want to do now that we have this is we want to add some lessons because we have Professor Symbology. So we probably want to add some lessons to kind of help us out. And I think, you know, add in. Oh, you know what? I'm still filtered on. I was like, why am I missing like lessons from a particular thing? So we'll add in 1 introduction. We'll add in environmental sciences in case we need a land. Reduced memory is a good, like, kind of like if there's something in our way, we can deal with the creature. Spirit summoning is definitely a solid option. Anatomy is good. Summoning also good in case we want to get that little bit of additional. I think we just want, nope, not in the deck. We want 1 additional of those. And then Prophecy we already have. All right, geez. No, okay, being tricky. All right, so this is the deck. I think this is definitely a deck. One card over though. I'm wondering where we want to cut. I mean, technically, I think the one card over is because I have the one of Lunarch Aspirant. I wonder if I should cut there or if I should keep it and cut something else. I think we'll cut one. No, because we want to go into our lesson board. Maybe we just cut the Cathar Commando as it being just a one of like maybe spot removal spell that in case we need it. But I think this is definitely very good. If we go to the deck breakdown, we have 29 creatures, 8 instants, 4 artifacts, and 19 lands. I mean, there's technically 23 lands because of the Kabir takedown. So I think it is definitely a good balance. And I think the one thing I want to do that I didn't do previously in the other video that I did like this is I kind of want to dive into a game and kind of see how the deck performs. So let's see how it goes. All right, we go first. Our hand, okay. Yeah, I guess we keep. I think I put a Kabir takedown sideways. I could play the chaplain, but I don't want to have to worry about you know, playing a tap land. But we'll play a professor. Make sure we hit our land drop next turn. Get a 2/1 on the battlefield. Our opponent's playing some sort of mono black, it looks like. All right, so we'll stack him for 2. We didn't draw the land, but we'll play our environmental sciences. We'll get a plains, gain a life, play a chaplain as they go. I'm kind of curious of what our opponent's trying to do here. They haven't played anything on 2 turns. Maybe they're wondering what we're doing. Maybe they got some removal spells, but they don't really want to play it against us. Maybe they're missing a color because they didn't slap down a land here, right? So that is a good telltale sign that, you know, maybe they're missing a land drop, because most of the time if you haven't played anything, you don't have a creature to attack with. Okay, maybe they do have a land. Okay. So you do, which is not bad for us. So what I think I'll do is all right, we'll attack in, see what our opponent does here. They block. So we get our 4/4, it's fine. Which isn't bad. It's not great, unfortunately. But we are pretty wide, and the only thing I gotta worry about is a meat hook. Would be the one bad thing here. A meat hook would really wipe our board out, which is unfortunate. Okay, so they're a spell deck. They have a mana, a bat. Okay. Yeah, let's swing for this and see what they do. Probably chump. What does it do? Pay 3 life? I'll pay 3 life. Action, take 3. They're going to the learn board. I guess maybe they're trying to find, maybe they want to either get 1/1s or, nope, they got that, which is not bad for us. I guess they want to make sure they hit their land drops. Look at anatomy. It's definitely a tough spot, I think. Because they're only at 3 mana. And they want like a Blood on the Snow here would be very strong for them. I don't want them to get to 5 mana because that probably means their Planeswalker comes down and that puts us in a weird spot. Because Planeswalker is strong. Okay, bat. Alright, we sacrificing to draw a card, draw 2 cards, possibly trying to get a land, another environmental sciences. They're gonna take a hit here. Oh wow, they got rid of. Let's swing because it doesn't change up anything here. All right, make them have it. I think this makes us wide enough that this makes it very awkward for them, so they have to wipe the board. Environmental sciences is fine. I mean, meat hook still hurts if they get meat hook here, right? Because 2 and 1, that wipes out pretty much our whole board, other than our clarion spirit, so it means we have to rebuild. Okay, so they're just gaining life, getting land. My turn. Your takedown's not terrible. What is this? So we'll crew, swing. We'll get blah 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 back to our hand. So they're at 2 or 3. We would have been short by 1. I think we play Professor. We get something back from our thing to our hand. We'll get this just in case we have to rebuild, and we'll end turn. We'll see what they do here. If we can Valorous Stance, something that we may want to keep, which I think is a Blood on the Snow coming. I think we either get a Clarion Spirit or a Professor here with a Valorous Stance. We'll keep the Clarion Spirit. And I think we win. If I draw a land, we win, because I can Kabir take down whatever creature they put out on the battlefield. And then I can play Anatomy, and that's the win. That's fine. 2 or less. We'll get back a creature from our graveyard. We get Professor. Get the block. Play Professor. This. I'll actually play this just as that. We'll say go. Another Blood on the Snow. Sure. Sure. Is that game? I think that's game with Adeline, right? Because we can get rid of one of these. We Adeline, we get, yeah, that's game with just the Adeline. So we get rid of that, and then we play Adeline. And then I think gets us wide enough when we attack with both of these. Yeah. Opponent's dead. All right, and we are back. I mean, overall, I think the deck performs pretty well, and I think with what we did to it and kind of made it a little bit more aggressive in the smaller end, I think helped us out even against a pretty tough mono black matchup. But overall, let me know what you guys think about the deck in the comments below. I'll have a link for this budget version of the deck if you want to import this version. And then, you know, you can also go back to the beginning of the video and look at the more meta version of the deck, or probably find a list of mono white wherever you look when it comes to the meta version of it on the interwebs. But with that being said, if you like the video, hit that like button. It definitely helps out a lot. If you're new here, you want to know when I post new videos on the channel. hit that subscribe button. And with that being said, I'll see you later.